Let's move on. 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited to talk about this one. Jacksonville Jaguars, 3-14 last year, 0-8 on the road at the Washington Commanders, 7-10, 4-5 on the road. We're at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. And I'm excited to talk about it because Birdie in our chat, great football capper, is very high on these Commanders. 79 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 8 miles per hour is the wind. I see the Jaguars getting a ton of love, and I would like to bet against them. Let's talk about the line movement first and foremost, and then we'll talk about the cash. And here we go. Jags, Commanders. The Jags opened up at +4. Now they're +2.5. Getting a lot of love. From a total perspective, it opened up at 43.5. As a pick'em, it's now juiced to the over, but still at 43.5. Let's go over to the cash flow in this one. We have 15,648 tickets in. 65% of the tickets and 90% of the cash is on Jacksonville. I guess that should be enough just to keep me off of it. I guess.
Yeah, they're getting some love. Jacksonville is getting love in the market, and not only that, but like in the season long markets too. And some of it, I think, is just that dead cat bounce off of an Urban Meyer season where, I mean, just we don't have enough time in the day to go through all the shit he did, man. It was just an utter disaster under everything there, and it sucks because you probably lost a nice developmental year for what was supposed to be this can't miss first round overall top pick. And hopefully it's a good spot. And somebody brings this up. This is another leg that I think I will probably have this one with I don't know which one I'm going to double dip on, but this is a teaser leg that I will use. I will put this I'll make this an official play. And once I find the one that's going to go with it, I think I'm double dipping on the Vikings, honestly. Spoiler alert. But now that we're at this spot, I'm absolutely fine taking the road dog here in what should be, somebody called it a bum fight. Yeah. A couple of people called it a bum fight. Ugly game. And this is another one. It doesn't matter what Washington has. Yes, they have some nice pieces on defensive line. Yeah, they have McLaurin. They have not Gibson anymore, but they have an okay nucleus. But man, the Carson Wentz experience has been rough for a while now. And not only that, but I mean, he only went 1-1 against the Jags last year with a much better team and really struggled in both games. They were this was not a good matchup for him, and nobody was a good matchup for Carson Wentz. I can't believe that's what we're rolling out. Honestly, I feel bad for the team that you get a brand new name and you decide Carson Wentz is what you want to do with that year. So hopefully we see Howell at some point, or God, anything Heineke, because Carson Wentz was a liability that a good coaching staff worked around last year. Like, you could see it. He was being worked around. Like, we can't let him mess this up. And then he still would at times with some just egregious turnovers. So I don't want to bat the Jaguars, especially at a depressed price here, but it is a teaser leg that I think, no matter what happens, this game ends up a low scoring affair where somebody wins by about a touchdown.
See, I'm with the guys in the chat here. I just think there's too much love. DX5 says, I think the public is a little too in love with the Jags and new coach because you can only go up after Urban, but they are still going to be bad. And there's an idea that Doug Peterson knows how to defend Carson Wentz. All that being said, I'm shocked at this love for the Jaguars. And yeah, it's good that Peterson came in and got Urban Meyer. I mean, had to be one of probably the worst coaching tenure in NFL history. Peterson was 51-34-1 in Philly, 4-2 in the postseason, won a Super Bowl. But the Jags have lost 35 of their last 41 games. You have Lawrence come in, 12 touchdown passes, 17 picks, 5 fumbles, a passer rating of 71.9. That was only ahead of Zach Wilson. Last in the league in scoring, 27th in yards. The defense was 28th in points allowed, 20th in yards. Now, we all know the story of Doug Peterson and his ability to get the most out of quarterbacks. And, they bring in Christian Zirk and Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. Brandon Scherf to protect him. I don't dislike any of these moves. And surprisingly, James Robinson going to be back after 9 months. 9 months after tearing his Achilles, and Travis Etienne capable of a breakout season after missing all of last year. Trayvon Walker capable of forming a strong linebacking duo with Josh Allen. But I mean, you're after working with us for a long time, you're going to recognize some of the names in the chat. Dennis Garcia is a very talented capper. And listen to this is what he's doing, Andy. Washington -2.5 week 1. Washington over 7.5 wins. Washington to win the division. Washington to win the Super Bowl. And he's already on Washington -1 in week 2 at Detroit. Now, there was talk in the chat about Brian Robinson Jr., the third-round draft pick out of Alabama, shot in the attempted carjacking. He's going to be unavailable. You mentioned McLaurin. To me, there's 3 excellent seasons in the NFL, averaging 1,030 yards. I mean, he had some pretty weak quarterbacks throwing him the ball. First-round pick, Jaron Dotson out of Penn State will help the receiving core, as will Curtis Samuel. Antonio Gibson coming off a 1,037-yard season. He can be better. Logan Thomas, continuing to recover from knee injury. Chase Young still recovering from the ACL. But that front 7, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat should be strong. So what do you think about the love here? Because it seems like we know 90% of the cash is on the Jaguars in the betting market, but the cappers in the chat seem to be high on Washington. Do you think that's misguided? Who do you have to win the East here between the Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants?
I'm an Eagles believer. I just think that roster is talented enough to, maybe not take them to the heights some people think they are, but that division might be a little more of a rock fight than we posed it to be, and not to the extent that we saw a couple of years ago where everybody had a losing record, but I think it's a bit of a rock fight, and it might be your 4 seed. Honestly, the NFC North honestly could have a say in that too, though. But I do have Philly winning that division, especially if Dallas is going to be bitten by the injury bug like this right away. Man, I had high hopes for that offense. Once it finally all comes together, it doesn't look like it's happening. But it's one of those things where I believe in teams, but I really need a quarterback to put it all together. I love the front 7. I love Chase. I love a lot of things this defense does, but at this point, I'm not going to back a team for the long haul, even though it is a weak NFC. So if you're going to take a long shot, I'd way rather do it in the NFC to win the conference, to win the Super Bowl, because I think it's a lot easier path to wade through these playoffs than in the absolutely stacked AFC. So I don't hate that look. I'm wrong about teams every year, but boy, I'm not keen on a team doing anything of substance with Carson Wentz at the helm.
I think this is just too low. So then if I give you a free $500 bet at 2.5 in this game, you're on the Jags?
I'd go Jags money line. I'd never bet a 2.5. Yeah. I often, again, if it's under 3, I'd just straight up dog money line. But you have bum fight. This is a true bum fight where, again, I like it because at this point now it's a long teaser. And I will say, all the love in the market, I don't know if that really means a ton, but the fact that, limits are not fully up, but at respectable books, you can put $25K on this game. And the fact that limits are a little bit higher, not all the way up to where we see them come Wednesday, Thursday, and it took a big move today. It wasn't public money. It was respectable money, I think, that made the move today. So I guess that means something. I don't know if it means anything long-term. Sometimes it's not a Jags bet. It's a Commanders fade, I guess, at that point. We'll find out what the market thinks of these two teams next week. Then we can maybe get a little more of a read on, what some of the sharper money thinks of these two. But, yeah, DX Flyer, I wouldn't put 25 cents in this game. Yeah, straight up, this is a tough one to bet.
We at Pop Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, You'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to toast the victors and roast the losers. The cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.